today's construction day 206.
All right, so the good news is we got the pool pump operational. But the bad news is it was about 10 days of water in the pool without the pool pump. So there was a lot of dirt at the bottom.
A lot.
Yeah, there was a lot. There was leaves, obviously bugs, but a lot of sand just because of the construction. Just with the fact that we're still in the middle of a construction site, probably was wise to wait another week or so or 2 weeks to put water in the pool just because there was a lot of sand in the bottom of the pool. So we got the pool pump operational yesterday, and first thing this morning is Wilma and I took 3 hours in the morning sun and vacuumed the entire pool. I would think it would take probably 45 minutes to do a normal vacuum, but it took us 3 hours just because it was so much, and it was a lot of stuff, right?
There were a lot.
Yeah, a lot of stuff in the bottom. So we got it done, no problem at all. We backwashed it out, and right now the pool is very clean at the bottom, so we're very happy about that. Guys, the pH has been really good. Remember how everybody said it was going to be like iced tea color because of the high iron? We haven't experienced that. I've been shocking it every day, and now today is going to be the first day that we put the regular chlorine in it, the 90% chlorine, where you just put it in twice a week. So we're going to put a little extra in today, and what we're also doing is we're putting it in right at dusk because what I've read is the sun really tears up the chlorine. So I figure wait for the sun to get over the mountain and then put the chlorine at night. Don't know if that makes a difference or not, but at least it has all night without the sun hitting it. And the waters remain clean without us vacuuming it or having the pump running for many days now.
It stayed clean.
Yeah.
I thought it will turn green, but it's not. And did not turn into iced tea.
Yeah.
It's actually clear. Yeah, and someone's been swimming on it.
Yeah, I can't help. Every day I'm jumping in, even though the bottom was a little dirty. But we got it clean today. So what we want to do today is we've been getting a lot of questions that we want to give the answer out, not just to one person in an email, but out to everybody. And actually, one of the emails said, why don't you do a short segment on building? So just a couple of questions. And what we'll probably end up doing is doing a question and answer session as the questions come in through emails. So the first question was, should the foreigner or the person building the home be in the Philippines and on site as much as possible? And I think you're going to know what my answer is.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, I really do. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of good stories out there of people who build a house and they're still in their home country. I personally would not do that, and I would not recommend that. I think being on site as much as you can is a good thing. I think I've learned a lot. I've really watched the home being built, so the satisfaction of watching your own home being built, and then you have that tribal knowledge of what's going on. You know basically everything about the home. And then you can be aware if there's any shortcuts or mistakes that's being made. You can get involved in the decision making. You'd be surprised how many times the foreman and the workers would have a conversation about something and then invite me in and say, sir, what do you think about this? And then I had an opportunity to chime in. Now, it is frustrating when they're having that same conversation and they're speaking in another language and you know they're talking about a certain topic and you want to know what's going on because you have a vested interest in the home and you don't know what they're talking about, and they may make a decision that may not be the right one. I think the guys know me enough, and if you're on site every day, they get to know you and they include you in a lot of the general conversations. So do I think you should be on site? Yes. Do I think you should be here as much as possible on the building site? I think the answer is yes. That would be my recommendation. Two other questions that is always coming through on comments and emails is, would you change anything? Something that's positive and maybe something that was a criticism or constructive feedback. So I'll do the positive first. I think the fact that we brought an excavator on site right from Jump Street to do the heavy excavation right away and get it done was the right thing to do. You agree?
It is. It was a good investment because
Yeah.
it was like a lot of us, the long-term viewers of ours know how much rocks we pull out of this property, and that's why we have a rock wall
Yeah.
from that.
Yeah.
And yes, it was a good investment.
Yeah, and I think if you're going to build a pool, of course you got to dig the foundation for the columns, and then if you're going to have a fence, do it all at once. I don't recommend that you bring an excavator on site and then just do part of the job. I think a positive about this house and this build was the fact that we did digging for the footings for the foundation for the columns. We dug the trench for the fence, and we dug the hole for the pool all at the same time. So we got it done, because when you do a lot of digging, it's a mess. There's rocks, there's debris. We had 3 large trees that we cut down, so we had stumps that we had to pull out. I couldn't imagine saying, leave the stumps sit there, we'll get to it later. I just wouldn't recommend that. So I think a real positive with our build was the fact that we did the excavation up front, got it all done at once, the entire build. So the next question was any regrets? And really there isn't. Remember, we built this house, not just a house, but the fence and the pool, all in about 6 to 7 months. That's not bad. So any regret, I would say, is get the electrical in sooner than later. Now, we had something a little unique here. The electrician left the job for another job. So we did go without electrician for a little while. But nonetheless, I would say get the electrical, because here in the Philippines, the electrical is run for the most part in the ceiling, above the ceiling, below the roof. So getting our ceiling installed was delayed because of not having the electrical in. So that would be the only possible regret, is just to do your best to get the electrical run. Now, I think we also did a good job of running the satellite and the fiber all up in the ceiling as well. So you have to plan all that out and to walk around and make sure you have all your outlets exactly where you want them to be. So I guess, again, the question was something that we regret, and there really isn't many, but I just think getting the electrical done as soon as possible, as early as possible, gives you that flexibility to close up the ceiling and then go from the top down, right? You do your skim coating and your painting of the ceiling, then your walls, then you do your tiling. Now, a lot of you guys said, why did you put the tiles in so soon? Well, we had a dozen guys here, and what we were going to do, tell the guys to lay them off, waiting for the ceiling to be put up? And the answer is no. We wanted to keep the project moving, and it made perfect sense to keep the guys busy. But again, to get the electrical done in the ceiling as soon as possible. Do you agree?
I agree. Yes, definitely. That's why, because of that, we did the opposite.
Right.
Just so we can keep the guys going.
Keep the construction going.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're painting the back dirty kitchen, the epoxy paint. So we picked a pretty light color, very similar actually to the color of the floor in here. So that might be another regret.
Another regret.
So we're going to continue forward with it. We're going to show it to you in today's update. It's pretty light. I thought it was going to be a more sandy color because there's a lot of sand around here, and I figured tracking in and out it would hide the sand. But it seems pretty light. But we are epoxying back there. We got about 50% of it done. It looks good. It's just a little lighter than I thought, and I think we're going to have maybe a challenge keeping it clean. So we'll go from there. So now that's rethinking what we're going to do around the pool. So now we're going back to that gray color or possibly a darker brown. We don't want to do any light colors because it just seems like it's when you put it on, it says, wow, you're going to be able to see every little dirt mark from walking on that dirty kitchen. So we're going to show you guys that update, as well as they're working on or finalizing the fence today. I believe that's done already. They got that wrapped up, and now they're pouring the driveway. So off to the updates. Update on our barn door. Did hear from a contractor and said that the guy making it is just about done, and it'll be on site here shortly. So looking forward to getting the door installed. That's still an open item in the house. And just really quickly, I just want to show you, if you guys remember, I didn't want to leave this undone. We had very short curtains here because the curtains that we put up, we purchased, which looked like this, was for the other window for the other spare bedroom. And we can't get in there because there's so much clutter in there. So we took these curtains down that was here, and then now finally we did go buy proper curtains and have them at the proper length where they're 2 inches from the floor level. So we got that completed. Another open item is the molding in this room, also has to get done. And while we're talking about curtains here in the master bedroom, if you guys remember, I installed these incorrectly. I had these too high, and these were hanging off maybe 4 or 5 inches from the bottom, and they're supposed to be just a couple inches. So I went ahead and took the time to pull out the screws. Now there's holes in the concrete. I had to patch the holes, sand it down, repaint it, did all that, dropped the actual curtain rods down about 3 inches, and now we have it properly done. So this was something I just made a mistake on, and Wilma was reminding me of it every day. So we went ahead and got this corrected. All right, you can tell the pool pump is operational. So here's the first look at the water feature. Nice brass sprayers spraying out. Definitely is a nice sound. Definitely when you're sitting out here and hearing the water, definitely nice. But worked on the pool, got it all stirred up. It's really clean on the bottom. It's a little cloudy right now just because we just got done doing a real heavy vacuum. We were so surprised how much dirt was in the bottom of the pool, especially the sand. But here is our water feature, and we think it looks great. All right, so here in the carport, this week there has been no work on the gate. Gamai has been out. My understanding is his wife is an OFW, an overseas foreign worker, and she's back home. So I guess Gamai is catching up on lost time. So he's taking, I guess, the week off. So he'll be back next week and start working on the gate. Update on the walk-in closet. Good news, bad news. Good news. The 8th and final piece is here. Looks like they painted 3 more pieces, working on 2 more. But Monday they didn't show. I guess too much to drink on Sunday. That's what we were told. They were here Tuesday, yesterday, got this work done, and then today the transportation broke down. So still having some challenges. We've talked about regrets. Here's one right here. So it is what it is, but at least all the 7 pieces are up, and I'm sure it'll get done. It's just I'll probably reach my next birthday before it actually happens. Boy, does my truck need a good wash. With all this construction going on and pouring cement and dropping off sand, it's just covered with filth. So I'm going to have to take it down and get it washed here in the next couple days. But we're officially completed here with the construction. Now it's just paint. So they need to get the black paint on site. They can paint this. And then you guys know the color scheme for the cement. But all the work's done. Now Wilma and I talked it through, and we're going to go ahead and do solar lights out here for the 7 columns. So we're going to go and do some shopping which typically is Sundays, our shopping day. And we're going to look and see what we can find solar wise. And then what we'll do is we'll just cut the orange conduit off and then just install the light and then let the sun go from there. They did get a load of sand drop off, and they started the pour today. Looks like it's going to be 2 days. That's going to be my guess. So they didn't want to do anything here because, again, remember, everything has to be done a certain way and there's got to be a track laid in. So they wanted to skip this part to the very last. So they moved it back. It looks like they moved it back on about 1.5 meters, and looks like they got 50% of it poured today. And then now what they're doing is they're moving the cement mixer that was down here. They're moving it up on site for the second half. So here's what the driveway is going to look like. 3 meters wide. And what they did was they created a jig to scratch in lines. So it looks pretty good. Satisfied with it. Just to give it some grooves. So a little bit of grip as it goes up. Don't know if you can tell, hard to see, but it is a 3 centimeter drop from here to here. Just as rain comes and hits the driveway, it's not all going to run this way. It will to some degree, but it will head this way and go against the wall. So it looks like the driveway 50% done today and hopefully 50% done tomorrow. Now we're supposed to get rain today. You guys know it's been a couple of weeks. It's been sunny days. Summer's here. But it did cloud up. No rain today. But the forecast said 50-50 chance this afternoon. So we'll see what happens. I'll take a walk up and show you guys how they put the lines in the concrete. Pretty simple. Just to create enough texture horizontally as you go up the driveway to just scratch in just enough to create a little bit of grip. Now this is going to get wet. I'm sure there'll be mold growing on here from time to time. It's going to have to be power washed, but pretty simple, right? Just a bamboo stick, a little bit of steel. Looks like welding rods that he welded just to a piece of metal, and just pulling it and just creating enough of texture. Hopefully will help with getting the truck up the driveway. All right, so here's the look of the waterproofing epoxy that we're putting here in the dirty kitchen. So you can see by the can, that's darker than the way it's coming out. So we thought it was going to be a little darker. But what do you think, boss?
I really like it because it brightens up the room even more.
You like it because it brightens it up even more?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. It definitely brightens it up. I'm just hoping that it keeps it from showing dirt when you walk on it with shoes.
You just have to keep it clean.
You just have to keep it clean, yeah. So this is 3 coats. So this is 2 coats right here. So it's pretty thin. I mean, I wouldn't recommend this. This was 1,600 pesos. I think it was 16. I don't have my glasses on right now. I don't know what that says, but I think it was right around 1,600 pesos. Not a real fan of it. It says it's a waterproofer. It's for cement. It has UV protection in it. High traffic areas. You can use it on metal roofing and things like that as well. I mean, once it dries over and over there, it's real nice and shiny to it. I think it's going to last good, especially there's going to be no sun on it. So I think it will last a long time. It's just that it's lighter than we thought. I mean, we're going to live with it. You know, it's more of a yellowish. Again, the can shows it being more tannish, beige, very light brown, almost like a cardboard color. And this has a little more yellow tint to it. Now we're obviously going to live with it, and you do have to put 3 coats. Now we're going to have enough because I did the first gallon and counted up how many squares you can do. So we bought 3 gallons because we were supposed to, and here's the barrier so no dogs walk on it. We're only going to there. So I thought we'd have enough for 3 gallons, or at least the can says we had enough. This is, I think, 55 square meters, and I bought enough for 60 square meters. But I'm gonna have to buy a couple more cans just because it's more watery. But I think we're gonna have enough in this 3rd can if we stop right here, which is what we calculated this morning, to do a 4th coat. So it dries very fast. It dries in about 15 minutes, but we've been going an hour between coats. And then it says 24 hours to dry and then 3 days to be 100% cured. So we're gonna go ahead and put a 4th coat on today. Start at the beginning and go all the way back. Just one more coat. And then we're going to call it done, and I'm going to have to go back to City Hardware and buy 2 more gallons to get it done. So here's the look of the dirty kitchen epoxy.